Blast me hearties! Welcome to Toy Soldiers Old School! Today be Talk Like a Pirate Day. It's one of me favorite days of the year, and you didn't think I'd be ignoring that now, did you?
Arr! I'm a little messed up from the other night. That's okay. I need some more grog.
Aye, more grog for you.
No such thing as too much grog.
Well, good evening to ye. My name be the Captain. I am Diane Morrison. I'm also known as Sable Aradia. And this be my channel. I'm the creator of the Toy Soldier Saga, and tonight I shall also be the game master. I also play Captain Celine Wintermist, one of them serious marine types, you see, not at all a pirate. She joined the Marine Corps and the Avalonian Imperial Navy to see the universe and maybe help some people out along the way. She's an idealistic young elf priestess who is rapidly losing her innocence, I think. My and her pronouns be she or they. We'll go to my left, and we'll be talking to... Oh, let's see here. One of me officers in me crew, I think we'll have to say. Probably one of me lieutenants. Go ahead, Rowan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rowan. I play Von Vin Starsong. And she is also one of those scoundrelly, upright, semi-upright people because, she occasionally likes to stab a slaver in the groin. And who doesn't like to do that, pirate or not?
Right?
And
Especially if they're
joined the
Nazi.
Avalonian Imperial Navy to... Oh, yeah, extra stabs for Nazi flavors, man.
Always
And,
appropriate to hit a Nazi.
To, see the universe, fly on starseed ships, which are amazing, and meet new people and creatures and plants. And she wound up being a Marine, which gives her more groin stabbing for slavers and assorted other, individuals who are against the Elven Imperial Navy and its, defenders. And her pronouns are she, her, and so are mine.
Aye, alright then, let's be going to beneath ye, and let's start with Yasma.
Hi, I'm Dawn. I play Yasma Snowwind. I wasn't working. I joined the Navy with my best friend Crowley, and soon found out I wasn't an orphan after all. I found a dad and sister, then even a brother, and now I've got a man and a good career. It's all going good. Our pronouns are she, her.
And we'll be going to Blake over there, I think.
Hi, I'm Blake. I'll be playing the part of Crowley. He is a Pheenock, a feline-like race of my own creation. He was a bit of a troublemaker in the beginning, but he's learned to love and respect the crew and having a grand time being part of the Marines and flying around in a bug suit, killing shit, having a blast. And our pronouns are he, him.
Alright, let's be moving to one over to you, and let's talk to Brianna.
Hi, I'm Brianna, also known as Siobhan the Rider. I'll be playing the part of Ladis Madrimlian, a swarthy young elf who's decided to join the Avalonian Imperial Navy just for the shits and giggles. Unfortunately, it was also due to family obligations. Now, as it comes down to it, he's starting his own division, Black Ops. You want to talk pirates? Well, guess what? We're the pirates of the spaceways. We'll catch you one way or another. His pronouns are he, him, mine are she, her.
That was great. Alright, let's be going over to my first mate over there, Aaron.
What? What do you want? I was sleeping.
Get your lazy, swabby ass up to the deck and he's getting to work. No loafers on my ship.
Yeah, I'm Aaron. Known online as Aaron Ree. Which is spelled exactly as it sounds, R-I-G-H. Right? I play the part of Ruavel Sunfall, a character destined to become the father of the protagonist of the Toy Soldier Saga. Right? And our pronouns are he, they.
And last but certainly not least, let's be going over to our friend Chris to my other side.
Aye, scallywags and scullybutts. I'd be playing Aryan. He be the actual pirate of the group, if you want to be honest about it. Quite frankly, he's currently drunk and thinking about taking the command dreadnought.
Fantastic.
He feels bad because he's been saddled with the job of keeping this bunch of greenhorn, land-loving, stick up their bums, nobly types alive. And our glorious pronouns be he, him.
I'd like to commend y'all on joining in on the pirate lingo that...
I talk like a pirate. Pirates talk just like everybody else.
Well, that's true, to be fair. But...
And
Well,
right
fun
now, I
to do
don't
it this
speak
way.
like Cambodian or anything, so
Good point.
Or Somalian.
or Somalian, yeah.
Or Swahili.
A
I don't
lot of
speak Somali, so I can't be a Somali pirate.
a lot of people may figure that a pirate's favorite letter is R, but it's not, because they will always have love for the sea.
There you are. Well, I don't think I can reasonably keep this up all night and Game Master.
Well, pirate walks into a bar. He's got a ship wheel down his pants. The bartender looks at him and says, "You know you got a ship wheel down your pants?" Pirate looks at him and says, I know, it's driving me nuts."
An old one, but a good one.
And of course, as the chat crew has pointed out, Lieutenant Mad, you'd best be nipping down to hide in the with the bill shots before the fleet catches you. Oh, and all the chat crew, don't forget the only thing Lieutenant Mad is wearing is socks. Everything else is flopping in the wind. Actually, not at the moment. Lieutenant Mad is wearing socks and his bug suit. It's gonna chafe when he comes out of it, but he's wearing them. Because he got beat to quarters.
Yeah, absolutely. Stretch. Also, that stereotypical pirate accent is from just one actor in an old film who just happened to come from the West Country in UK, and it stuck. Legit. Yeah. Yeah, I love Talk Like a Pirate Day. I was once working at a taxi office. I was a dispatcher and answering the phone on Talk Like a Pirate Day, and I decided that I was going to do Talk Like a Pirate Day, and I kept it up all fucking day too. And my boss looked at me like I was out of my goddamn mind, but she couldn't complain because the customers loved it. So, anyway, it was always one of my favorite days, and now that I don't own a store anymore, or, do any of that stuff, I rarely get to do it. So, thank you for letting me indulge, okay?
And the Run for Cancer that happens every year in Vernon also used to be on Talk Like a Pirate Day, so we would dress up
Oh, it
for
never was on
the
Talk
Run
Like
for
a
Cure for
Pirate Day.
Cancer. Yeah,
It's
it was.
beginning of October. It falls on my birthday.
I'm pretty sure at one point it was.
No. We just
Okay.
dressed up as pirates to go do it.
Yeah, because it was fun,
All right.
because we were doing it as a team. But that's all right.
It falls on my birthday between the 1st and 3rd of October.
Yeah, all right. And welcome, as always, to our chat crew. For those who have never been to our game before, it is a unique feature of our particular game that we have chat crew who play NPCs. There is a channel point reward. I believe it's 100,000 points, and if you select that, then it's called I Want to Play. That means that you get to make an NPC who is involved in our game in some way, usually part of our crew, and they are occasionally allowed to do things that directly affect the action. So, also, if you're just joining us, you never have before, we do allow rerolls for channel points. Costs you 1,000 points, and you can re-roll any roll. We only allow 2 re-rolls on any given action, however, because otherwise this would get right out of hand. You can use them for good or ill towards the players. Alright, so I would ask for the intelligence officer's report, but I'm pretty sure there isn't one, and if there is one, it's probably pretty garbled. I welcome you to make the attempt, however, Madrimlian.
There are no intelligent officers on this ship.
Yep.
Not at the moment.
Intelligence officer's report. Huh? What? Oh, there's a ship coming in. What?
Well, that's why
But
we
I was
almost
having
got a
so much
hype
fun.
train. Sorry, thank you, Stretch, for the sub.
But I was having fun, and then I hurt myself. Dang, it's gonna chafe in the morning. Everybody to stations! Okay, I'm done.
Dad says, can I request that the appropriate goblin culture info be dropped in the chat crew channel? I did not know where to find it after our smoking with the goblins. Yeah, no worries. You're muted, dear.
Yeah, I'll do that for you later, Daz.
Perfect. Okay, so since we probably do not have an intelligence officer's report, the GM will remind everyone that where we were last time was that because the crew had decided that they were hiding out on this frozen hunk of ice in the middle of space after taking out a good part of the captured Fomorian. Well, it was an Avalonian Navy base. It was, however, undermanned. It was taken over in a surprise attack by the Fomorians when they declared war. Well, probably a little bit before they declared war, so, but anyway, the crew harassed the Fomorian forces in the system for a while. Then they went to take back Permafrost, or at least give them a hard time. They succeeded in blowing up a bunch of shit and creating a bunch of chaos. And then when they were outnumbered, they wisely made a strategic advance to the rear and took off. Since then, they've been hiding on the flip side of the flat world in their ship with like sort of camouflage over it, which are iced tarps. They're kind of waiting for their fleet to catch up with them because they anticipate that they're going to come here before they head out the wormhole to meet the rest of the Fomorian fleet in Talasian space. However, they've been here a while. Cabin fever struck them, and Lieutenant Madrimlian decided to engage in an ancient elven tradition. He donned one green sock and one one red, and declared a Loki's night. And that means that any amount of chaos and practical joking is
Apropos.
Yeah. So the crew is in not in the usual condition of a marine vessel. Let's just say that. They're
he did spike the stew with love potion number 9.
And the grog.
Everybody is basically drunk, high, or both, and under sort of a charm spell. So the orc and goblin prisoners have been sitting around with the rest of the crew going, I don't know what we're fighting about anyway. You guys aren't so bad. What the fuck? And duty roster kind of got out of control. Arian remembered he was supposed to be on watch. He went on watch, but he did not inform anybody on the duty roster that they are going to be out there. So,
Daz remembered that they were supposed to be on watch as well.
That's true. But basically, it's the fleet has just arrived. However, Arian wasn't sure which fleet had arrived, so we are all at battle stations, and that is where we are. All right. And by the way, if you haven't seen the VOD, you probably should. That was a really fun game. I had a great time. I think it was hilarious. So, okay. Celine, called everyone to battle stations. Everyone went to their stations. And we see a butterfly-shaped ship through the crack in the ice pillars above the ship.
Ruvel gives out a hearty huzzah.
Yeah, Celine pulls out her glass.
Which is it? Who is it? He says.
It's a giant bug! Shouts out Arian from the top of the crow's nest. It's gonna eat us all! We should take her now!
Yes, Nibble is still guarding the goblins.
Right. Celine says, "Stand down. That's our fleet," she says.
Madrimla sends his bug suit back, looks down, goes, whoops, and runs off.
Arian leans over the crow's nest edge, looking kind of bleary-eyed, and says, "Are you sure, Captain?"
"I'm sure," she says.
Well, damn.
No big bugs to kill today, Lieutenant.
I admit I was kind of in the mood to get into a fight too. However, she says there's probably an admiral with that big ship, so we should probably
We're out.
Get the ship in order, she says.
Yeah.
All right, back to work, everyone.
All right.
Clean up, sober up, let's go.
Turn two, sweepers, bang your brooms. Swab down the ship fore and aft, and stand ready for duty station.
Von Vin,
Yes.
do you have a delay poison?
Not currently prepared, I'm afraid.
I think I have something, says Celine. She looks at Ruvel and says, "You have the deck and con till I return."
Avalon, I have the deck and con.
Yeah, she heads down to look for it. Mew! Mew! That was my cat being a pain.
Yeah, Madrimla gets properly dressed. Still has the one red, one blue, green sock on, though, because the night's not over yet.
Magpie says, "I was a very boring low-keyer, ate ants and smoked normal, if fancy tobacco, and drank without falling to the potion. I saw that Aiden made their save as well."
So it had Madrimla originally, so that's why.
Yeah, Dazzlecat says, "LT, Arian, don't you dare fall. I'm trying to look good for the captain, and you splatting on the deck will be really bad for me." Do you hear me up there?
Dazzlecat, stand to your station.
Arian jumps out of the crow's nest.
Uh-oh.
And summons his bug suit on the way down and stops about 6 inches above the deck.
Well, he attempts to do this. He has to make a pretty fucking impressive piloting roll to do it, but I'll let you try.
That is the plan.
Oh, does the natural 20 I just rolled count?
Yep, the natural 20 you just rolled actually makes it look like a fucking pro. Yep, just boom, no problem.
Well, let's make up for bad dice last week. A magpie.
Dragon tag by reroll.
You have been told to reroll.
Well, damn. It's only an 18.
Still looks really
On
smooth.
That's on the dice before I even add my
Pilot.
pilot. Which
Yeah.
is... Well, actually, it's my fly, which is plus 13.
Gotcha.
So it's a 31.
Yeah, so he basically just walks off the crow's nest, and he goes, and then his bug suit appears, and he goes, shoop, just before he hits the deck. Hello, Kitty. All right, if Kitty's gonna crawl my lap, then Kitty actually, he wants my attention because he wants to go out, but we just started the game, so I was not particularly inclined to be hurriesome about it, as it were.
And I hear a motorboat.
Yeah, you do.
Besides that, in about 5 minutes, in about a half hour, you'd have to go drag them back in the house anyways. Just easier not to let them
No,
out
she
in the
just
first
wants
place.
out of her room.
Oh, okay.
Well, he does want out, but I won't let him out, so.
Okay. Down as ordered, ma'am.
Very good.
Crowley looks over at the captain and goes, "And you say I'm trouble."
Captain, says Ruel.
Yep, looks over at him.
I thought that delay poison might be useful to give to Arian so that he's can sleep this off when his shift's over.
On the other hand, it's rather fun to watch him lightening up, but yeah. She says she'll be very embarrassed. He'll be very embarrassed if he acts like this in front of the Admiral. So here, drink, she says.
Alana. And he drinks it.
Yeah. Delays the poison for up to 8 hours. You can dispel it at any time.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'll be right back.
Nods.
And Arian clumps down the companionway and goes and finds Madrimlian and rips both socks off of him.
I totally see this. He literally comes up to Madrimlian, actually, okay, make an opposed grapple check, because I'm certain he's dead serious. He's going to pick your ass up, and he's going to rip off the socks, so.
Oh, I'm gonna try acrobatics and get out of the way. I see him coming, think, oh no.
Well, yeah, you see him coming. He's not being subtle. He's like clomp, 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 clomp.
Yeah. Like, oh no, I'm out of here.
So you're going to attempt to run?
Nope. Tumble. As in, oh look, here he comes. I'm gonna jump over him and dive roll.
All right.
I got a total of 15.
Oh. That's probably good enough to jump right into his arms.
Yep.
If you do that, you better kiss him, man.
I was going to. That's what happened. If I jump right into his arms, okay, give him a kiss right on the lips.
Oh, crap.
So what am I rolling? CMB?
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
He asked what he was rolling, his CMB.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, no, you don't, Captain.
All right, 15 on the dice plus 11's 26.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
contest. You
right
start
into his
wriggling.
arms.
He grabs you in a bear wrestle.
Oh, okay. Place both hands on the side of his head and pull his face and just kiss him.
Are you resisting?
Currently in the process of spinning him upside down as he tries to grab my head.
Okay. All right, so
Then he's gonna tombstone him into the.
yeah, maybe. Okay, Madrimlian
Bad.
has to roll. I believe that's a CMB too, because that's like
Trying to take control of the grapple.
Yep.
Yes, try to
Natural
take control.
20.
I suspect that will be re-rolled as well.
Yep. Give it a minute.
Oh, it'd be funnier if you guys let it stand. Come on.
That's what I
Moon.
thought. Yeah.
No natural 20 for you.
Okay, fine. Total of 22. 15 on the die plus 7.
Okay, and what did Arian roll?
Well, my CMD is 24.
Ah, nope. So he basically, you go to kiss him, he kind of does this, you know, one arm, one leg. And now you're upside down. And he literally.
Tombstones him into
Daz
the ground.
re-rolled. Daz re-rolled.
Oh, there we go.
Apparently
19 on the die, so 26.
Well, all right. He kisses you before you manage to flip him over. What in the actual fuck? Excuse me for a minute. I have to murder my cat.
Fucking shit over me. Let me out of the room.
Hey, Casalia. Everybody always says that the Majumlian has a stick up his ass. Well, there's a reason he seems to have a stick up his ass.
Get a good look
Enough,
at the kitty.
Arian can make it actually literally true.
Get a good look at the kitty, everyone. Ash? I'm trotting out of there like his ass is on fire and his fucking shoulders were catching.
Was holding me hostage, Dad.
So
It was awful. Now let me outside.
after Majumlian kisses me and I flip him upside down and take off his socks, I drop him on the deck and say, "By the Morgan, it's war, and the friggin' fleet's here."
Yeah, but we've been sitting here for how long? We had to break.
They're here now. It doesn't matter. Go get your ass in line.
Yeah,
I
kitties
was
who
on
try
my
to go
way.
in and out while I'm streaming get kitty tax, whether they want it or not.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially if they throw everything off my counter. Fuck this thing. Fuck that thing too. Yeah.
It's like, where do you think I was heading, Arian? I just had to get dressed properly.
Now the socks are out of the way.
I gotta go find new socks. Goes back to his room to get a pair of socks.
Fortunately,
other-
he has another matching pair to the last one.
Exactly.
Just hide them in your boots. He'll never
Yep.
notice.
That's exactly what he does.
Tuck your pant legs in.
Yeah.
Arian clumps back up on the deck. Throws the pair of red and green socks
Tucking
over
socks
the
in his
side.
pocket.
Throws the red and green socks over the side.
Oh.
Good idea, Cicely.
Fortunately, I'm pretty sure he's probably down there putting on the other two socks right now.
Probably, she says, but that might save our ass, so I'm going to let him, she says.
You all right, LT?
I'm okay. His head's going up.
He looks at Arian.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, catching up on the chat crew, because this is actually kind of important here, what they're all doing. They're getting in line too, which is really kind of cool. Nimlin is guarding, so under the deck, and Nimlin is sober. We've established that.
Well, Jack, the debate of whether Lieutenant Mad was actually male or not has finally been answered. Magpie,
Yeah.
hide your eyes.
Aiden is trying to clean up the mess and not doing it and not succeeding well. Yeah. Oh, actually, Aiden rolled a natural 20 to clean up the mess.
No.
So apparently, Aiden is getting things well in order. Dazzlecat is singing to herself as she returns to her duty as aide to Lieutenant Mad. I can punch you through the floor 'cause I ate my blue mushroom spores. I'm Squint Eye the star pilot. That's hilarious. Yeah. Hello, Barbarossa. Good to see you. Hey! Alright, now I gotta rearrange everything again. But that's okay. Good to see you there, Taz.
Yeah, my phone died on me. It
Ah.
has all my alarms and everything, and yeah. That's what I get for not paying attention to my phone's charge.
Yep, that's what you get.
I told you guys his phone was likely out of charge.
Yeah.
Because it rang 3 times and went right to voicemail.
Alright.
It was more likely than you were in a conversation with someone.
Yep.
Him talk to people? What? When did that start?
Besides us on Discord.
Right. Everything's completely borked now. 1 minute.
I suppose I could have called your granddad's cell and told him to go kick you. That just occurred to me now.
He probably wouldn't have liked that very much.
Why, is he sleeping
Well,
too?
I would have asked him. And I probably would have said, I think Taz's cell phone ran out of charge and there's something he's supposed to be doing. Could you please go wake him up?
Alright, we're back in order, I think.
Yep.
Alright, so, in the meantime, the rest of the chat crew here. Yep, Dazzlecat hurriedly returns to her last actual assigned duty of making more booms. Sparkle! We gotta get back to making explosives! Nimmelin looks at the goblins. Any of you ever played 20 Questions? No, can't say as we have. Sparklebeard gives a toothy black powder covered grin as he rubs some powder against his teeth. Let's do this. Dazzlecat says Nimmelin the Admiral might be coming aboard and the brig jail is very messy, and I mean the part outside the prison cells because of our party. Badoom Tish, Aiden is cleaning and on a roll. You know, because they rolled the dice. Anyway, okay. I didn't say it, they did. Blame them. Yeah, Nimmelin says, oh yeah, I guess I'll mop and play 20 Questions. My Space Crow Albatross thing helps too. Cool. You gave yourself like a crow kind of space bird kind of deal. You know that star gulls actually are a thing, right? Like, I figure that if they take seafaring stuff and they go to space, the fucking seagulls are going to follow them. Because of course they are.
Yep.
Because they're basically rodents in bird form. So... yeah. Right? The sailors among us agree.
And there are Starbaltross too.
Yeah, there are. Yeah. Dazzlecat says to Sparklebeard, whatever we do, don't get us noticed by the officers. They're still a bit whack, so we gotta keep the boom stuff safe. Hey Chris, good to see you. Welcome. Yeah. Well, Chat Crew says, Daz, the debate of whether Lieutenant Mad was actually male or not has finally been answered. Nimmelin, avert your eyes. Guess all that fancy hair stuff was just a phase. Sparkle, if you call my players who are online while I'm gaming, I will not talk to you for a month. I'm just saying. Yeah. At least online. Yeah. Nimlin says, "Thank the stars they taught my rich behind to clean in boot camp." Yeah, Nimlin says, "I'll teach you all. Let's play a practice round. I teach them while cleaning. Nothing to mostly too much. Mostly animals and household items. I was thinking along the lines of my patron going, here, babysit, Hans bird thing, Nimlin. Me babysit or they babysit? Patron, yes." I like that. That makes sense. All right, you have a white raven. It is an albino raven.
Mm.
Cool.
You may name it what you want.
Be a foe stargle.
Mm-hmm.
But if you name it Gus, it'll take on a very certain personality.
Yeah, if you name it Gus, Aaron gets to play it. I'm just saying.
Right, then we'll have Gus the Tree and Gus the Raven.
Yep. That's normal.
Yeah.
It's fine. If they name it Bella, then it's my turn.
Yep.
Then Rowan gets to play it.
Celine hands her
Because
glass
the
to
bird needs to know.
Ruavel and says, "Get up there and see what's going on. The fleet passed over, but they didn't stop."
That's Ruavel?
Yeah.
Alana. He takes off.
And she says to Arian, "I'm going to need your help to whip the rest of these guys back into shape." She says, "All right, party's over. Let's get this stuff." "Oh," she says. "Good job, Private," she says to Moonflower with an approving nod. "Here, let's
Sick
lend a
bay
hand,
is
shall
secure.
we?" He says to some of the other ones. "Sick bay is secure.
London.
Thank you very much, Ensign. Good job."
Ready for regular, normal ship operations and flight, ma'am.
All right, those of you who are on deck duty, let's start clearing away this camouflage so we can get ready to lift out of here and chase down the rest of the fleet.
Yep, Madrimlin is securing the booms.
No,
Kit set.
Madrimlian is not being led anywhere near the booms without direct order, it sounds like, because Dazzlecat is and them are like, and Sparklebeard are like, "I don't know if you're sober yet there, Lieutenant. We really don't think, I mean, you're perfectly within your rights to order us, but we strongly recommend that you stay away from the powder room at the moment."
Well, welcome
Sir?
to illegal orders. You don't have to follow an order given to you by a drunk officer.
Madrimlin is not drunk. He was acting it.
We don't
Yeah,
know that.
they don't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You're not allowed to be in a command position under the influence.
Dazzlecat says you need the captain's orders first. Sir.
Fair enough. Yep, fair enough. I will go get the captain's orders first and head back up to the captain.
Okay. In the meantime, Ruavel goes to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You see the signs of combat at the harbor, basically, once you get airborne.
They're fighting
enough.
in the harbor?
Yep.
How does it look like we're doing?
It's hard to say from here.
Okay. Take out my glass and take a look.
Okay. Just a
See if I
second.
can get a
need
better look at-
particular document, so I'm calling it up.
Okay.
Yeah, Pen, you tell her.
Can you tell her?
Yeah. Penn, tell her. You, Tish. Okay.
His name is Pen Opal Arbor.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, okay, so I'm sorry, while I was looking that up, you come back down, do you? You said? Or
I take a look through my glass, see if
right?
I can get a better look and see if there's any way I can tell whether or not like we look like we got enough ships to take the harbor
Well,
over there.
when you get a closer look through the glass, it looks to you like the angle of fire is mostly downward from our fleet.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, they're wiping them out. Okay, head back to the deck.
Yep, she looks at him and says, report?
Yeah, salutes. Says, Captain, the fleets engaged in combat in the harbor seem to be wiping out the orcs and goblins.
She says, gentlemen, do you believe we are in any condition to join them?
No, ma'am.
I think we've done enough, ma'am.
Very well, she says.
And I need your clearance to retake command of the booms.
She gives him a raised
explosives.
eyebrow.
That's what the private was calling them, so I figured I'd just use her terms.
She says, take off your boots, Lieutenant.
Takes off his boots.
Whereupon he has one green and one red sock, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Then the answer is no, you do not have my permission, she says.
Takes off
You're
the
out
socks.
of uniform, Lieutenant. Put your boots back on.
I was gonna say, takes off the socks. He's got regulation socks underneath them. Stuffs the socks in his pockets and puts his boots back on.
Very well, now you may take command of the booms, she says.
Avalana.
She says, all right, all hands to stations. Prepare for inspection, she says.
Oh. Ruvel stands by.
Ma'am,
Adrenaline stands by.
Ma'am, seeing as how you made me sober, would you like me to go report to the Admiral and let him know where we are and what we're doing?
That's probably a great idea, Lieutenant. Thank you, she says.
I didn't want to. I was thinking of doing that myself, says Ruvel, but I am still drunk.
Yes, then you'd best not. Actually, she says, I have half a mind to order the crew not to have seen the dreadnought, she says.
Order the crew not to have seen it.
Shrugs.
Your call, ma'am, but if they, well, they'll probably be here a while consolidating and cleaning up, so.
Yep.
We could certainly spot her in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I figured, she says.
Another 6 hours and everyone would be better back to shore.
Right then, she says. Yeah, once all hands are to station, she turns around and she says, you did not see a ship, she says. But as of now, Loki's night is over.
Adrenaline will show the socks and stuff in his pocket so everybody knows it. pointedly.
She says, "It is a time-honored tradition to acknowledge all faiths of the Avalonian pantheons within the Navy, and I assume the Marines," she says. At least it says so in the regs. She says, "So I do believe we are within our rights, but we are still on duty. Let's sober up." She says, "In a couple of hours, we shall spot what is going on and go and rejoin the fleet. In the meantime, let's get the ship in order and ourselves in order. Understood?"
Avalana.
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 "All right," she says. "Back to your duties," she says. "I won't say as you
And
were."
everybody, and Von Vin adds, and everybody flippin' hydrate. Or you're gonna have a hell of a fucking hangover and it's hard to function.
"Ship's doctor's orders," she says.
There's no shortage of water.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's right.
And Stretch redeems a Hail Hydrate. Hail Hydrate.
Sláinte.
Hail hydrate.
Actually,
Sure.
I have to go and get a hydrate, and we are at an hour in. I should probably call in my last cat.
Yeah, 10-minute break.
Oh, is the old man still outside?
Yep. He
Yeah.
wouldn't come in because it was raining.
Yeah, he wouldn't get out from under the car.
I tried. I got wet.
I'm not
He
getting
didn't.
wet, you son of a bitch. I'm in a dry spot. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yep, he was not having it.
Oh.
He was sitting right on his feet. He's like, "Nope."
Where my cats get in the window and then yell at me all the way into the house about how horrible the weather is and how I should fucking fix it.
Yeah, I know. They
Oh, yeah.
during the winter they keep making me open the door and then yelling at me the winter's still there. They're like, "It's summer in the house. What's the
You know, you just kick them out then. You made me open the door, you go the fuck out. It's just that simple.
Yeah, that's...
My feet are cold, so can yours be.
Well, we don't do that to the old man. Because
Yeah.
he's old.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say Scoot's a little different though.
Yeah.
He's down a leg.
Yeah. I think that Chris was trying to say something here before we went off on this tangent. And I want to make sure he gets a chance before we break.
No, not really.
No? Okay. All right, we're going to take a temporary break. We'll see you in about 10 minutes, everyone. And, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get myself some ice cream.
I'm gonna have some more tea water. Thing about not smoking, I wind up drinking lots of more beverage. No, it's hand mouth stuff. Yep.
Oh, good. That means we can still get our deep thoughts with Crowley in tonight.
Give me a few moments and I'll let
Yes, Stretch, you are.
not know what particular combo of stuff that I have had today that has resulted in this, but I feel remarkably like I have eaten an entire big package of cherry nibs and downed a whole tube of like cherry viper venom. You are all duly warned.
Oh god.
She is
Rowan's had
bouncy,
red
bouncy,
food
bouncy,
dye.
fun, 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 fun.
Rowan's had red food dye.
The most wonderful thing about Rowan is she's the only one. No, I haven't, which is the weird part. But it could have been the purple mochi I had earlier today, but that was hours ago. So I am not sure what has done this, but everybody has been told.
Sleep? What's that?
And I have to. Yeah, exactly. I gotta take Mom and Carl to go vote tomorrow.
Have you voted yet?
Oh, tomorrow. Voting day is
20th.
Tuesday.
Tomorrow's the 20th.
I thought voting day was Tuesday.
Oh,
No, Monday.
Hmm.
Monday.
Monday, Monday. So good to me. I'm glad I've already voted.
Is the advance poll?
Yep.
I would have, but our local voting place is like a small community hall, and you're lucky if there's anybody else there while you are, other than the people manning the voting stations. So
That means you get in and get out real quick, no problem, no mess, no fuss.
that's right. Get in, get out. We're talking about yahoo, yahoo, yahoo.
Yeah, I'm not voting, so it
Why not?
doesn't test me. I'm not
For
signing
calling an
up.
election.
No. The very long story, but it boils down to they discriminated against me, right? And at the poll, and I am offended. So I'm not standing in line for a fucking hour on voting day when I went to the advance polls to avoid that. They discriminated against me.
What the?
Their ableist ass was there.
Well, I hope you made a big stink.
No. I didn't actually.
That's bullshit. I'm glad we're on a mature channel.
But you gotta move on because we can still get free.
Yeah. Valana.
Ah, Valana. Roll 'em, roll 'em, roll 'em.
And we are back. All right. Did we just get a written lecture from the captain?
He dropped in the Articles of War article.
Well, this may be relevant, I'm just saying. No, of course not, Dazzlecat. Dazzlecat said, Captain, we were just discussing what ifs, nothing real getting planned. The relevant stuff while we were gone in the chat crew, for those of you who are listening later, right, or who are not watching on video, right, Dazzlecat said, Nimlin made sure the goblins were hydrated too. Daz said, Nimlin, you're doing a great job as a guard. Nimlin replied, it's like taking care of my younger brother. Wait, that sounds bad. One of the goblins went, hey! Not your little brother. You guys are alright, though. Of course, they're still fucking stoned and high and charmed. We didn't bother, like, fixing them.
Oh, hell no.
Dazzlecat hides a pot of sticky goo with the mini booms, has plans for sticky booms. Right? Nimlin says, Daz, how can I twist the law and get enough money to have custody of my brother? Right? Daz said, Nimlin, let me check on that. Or let me think on that. A good place to start is to keep an eye out for enemy loot you can sell when we get to a port. Nimlin says, isn't that illegal? I can't afford to be court-martialed. Daz says, by loot, I mean minor valuables, the kind that don't have provenance or family names, etc., like coins, basic neck chains, but not the fancy pendants, that sort of thing. The sort of things that could have come from anywhere. Nimlin nods and says, I see. That still sounds illegal. Daz says, only if you talk about it, so shh. Nimlin gives her a kind of a kind of skeptical expression. It's a good emoji there. It says, I was thinking, less connected to military crimes sort of deal? Perhaps you were the wrong individual to ask. Daz says, like, if we get ordered to help clean up the Orc port after the fleet gets done, what we find in the rubble, say nothing, pocket it away, secret, till you sell it next time somewhere. You asked for fast money, not safe money. Nimlin replies, look, Daz, I need to blackmail, I guess. I have some, but no clue how to use it. I need stable money. Daz says, how good are you at gambling? Nimlin says, if I can get access to my dowry and inheritance. Could be better, to be honest, Daz, in terms of responding about the, how good am I at gambling, as it were, how good is Nimlin at gambling. Right? And that's when I drop down the Articles of War. Dad said, did we just get a written lecture from the captain? Captain, we were just discussing what ifs, nothing real getting planned.
Oh, don't forget that Nimlin goes, Captain, how do I out-politic my parents?
Yeah, I saw that too, but I was going to do that as a separate thing. Right?
Sorry.
Yeah. She says, okay, first of all, Celine says, yes, the Articles of War that we read every week, she says. Of course, we've just violated an incredible lot of rules under the Articles of War, she says, but permission and observance of religious service is also part of the Articles of War. She says, so I believe we were at one of those situations where you kind of have to make a choice between two aspects. She says, but since I don't particularly care to discuss the merits of this with the Admiral, if I can avoid it, this is why we did not see the fleet. She says, however, let's get it in order, shall we? And if I catch you looting, she says to Dazzlecat, I will shoot you myself with the crossbow, she says. As much as I like you.
No looting, Daz. Now, Nimlin, what do you mean outpolitic your parents?
Yeah, do tell us more, she says. We are, for the moment, relatively idle. Yes, Daz says, well, no problem. To which Celine gives her a long, steely glare.
So does Madrimlian.
Ruavel smiles.
Now that I do believe Nimlin had a question, and, yes, tell us more. Fill us in. What's going on, she says. Maybe we can help. If you'd prefer to discuss this in the wardroom, that would be fine, she says. Or in my ready room, rather, she would say. Probably not the wardroom. Yeah. I did turn my mic back on, didn't I?
Yep.
Okay.
It could be taking,
Might just be lag.
him in a few moments. Yep.
No, it doesn't have that bad a lag here, but... there we go. Nimlin says, well, I don't particularly have solid evidence for this, but my home life was rather stifling. I believe my brother has it worse. Yes, Captain, that would be preferable, I believe. Very well, says Celine. Indicates the ready room. Heads in there, nods to, kind of goes like to Ruavel because he got involved too. Looks around and says, Lieutenant Mythithus, you have the con and the deck. Right. And then she heads into the ready room with Nimlin. Daz glares back at Lieutenant Mad. Psst! How am I supposed to keep my skills honed if I don't keep in practice? You did mention my skills were important.
Okay.
Wait, is that my outside evil laugh?
Madrimlian mind links to Daz. So that,
For Arian's benefit, who is there observing this, Madrimlian gets that constipated expression that he tends to get when he's concentrating on telepathy. We've all seen it by now!
Yeah.
Yep.
He looks like Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Arian just rolls his eyes and goes off to do his duties.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I did tell you your skills would be important and you will get opportunities. You just don't bring them up in public.
Crowley says to Daz, hey Daz.
Is it my
Uh-oh,
thing?
we went down.
Ah.
And anything of importance goes straight to Scout.
And we're back. You're gonna have to repeat that, Crowley.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Internet work. I got, hey Daz, something about a fight.
Crowley says, hey Dad, after we're through a fight and we're policing up corpses to, be disposed of, buried and whatnot, it's called resupplying, not looting, and anything of importance goes straight to the captain.
Yeah. Ooh, says Daz. I see.
Exactly.
Rothel pours Nimble a coffee.
All right, says Celine. Tell us what's going on, Nimlin. She sits down, invites Nimlin to also sit.
Rothel sit.
No, we probably didn't lose Magpie, Daz. I just figured that Magpie says they're not a fast typer, and there's also this other conversation going on, so they probably didn't know that, you know, they could have been typing while this was going on, but this is fine. I can go back and forth with what's going on. It's all right. Nimlin says, my brother takes after my more wild habits. Running off, getting into trouble, nothing quite like Daz, mind you, but the tendency to run amok nonetheless. I was too old and too sly to excuse being kept cooped up often. My brother in his youth has neither the wisdom or the public presence.
Your parents keep you kidnapped in your home? Did you attend school?
She looks at Ruavel and says, or is it a matter of feeling stifled by the Sealy court? She says. Not that I know anyone who knows anything about that, do I, Ensign? She says to Ruavel.
What are you talking about, Alana?
Mm-hmm, she says. Okay, in the meantime, what's Arian doing while we wait for what Magpie says next? He went stomping up the deck to get things in order, it looked like. I get the impression he's in a foul temper.
No, not really.
Okay.
He's just focused on the fact that of all nights to choose, Madrimlian chose this one, and now we're behind the 8 ball. So he's very much in business-like mode at this point, which is like, let's get this shit cleaned up, let's get this, you know, camouflage down so that when the captain's ready to leave, we can leave immediately. You know,
Madrimla is actually helping Aaron in that too.
he's not above having the enlisted Marines go do a quick snow swim to sober up and stuff like that.
Snow swim! Mm-hmm.
Oh God, those poor Marines. Yeah.
Put your head in the water barrel.
Yep.
Break the ice first.
And yeah, Madrim will actually apologize to Arian. Arian?
Yes, sir.
Aren't you guys the same rank?
We are.
Yeah, but he has
Seniority.
Significant seniority.
Ah, that's actually interesting. Yes, sir. That's sort of a white mutiny going on there.
Yeah.
You guys have been on a first name basis up till this point.
On a last name basis.
Yeah.
Arian and Madrimlian. He doesn't like people calling him by his first name.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I didn't expect this to happen so soon. It's just we were all getting stir crazy, so I figured I'd try and break the ice a bit. Get people to relax a little bit so it wasn't so stressed out. Let's get this place ship-shape, shall we? Together.
Absolutely.
Right. You heard the lieutenant. Get your asses in gear.
Did we lose?
Bonvin is just completely.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Bonvin's just comfy, you know. Her infirmary was never out of order to begin with.
Nope.
Shenanigans stayed out of it. The worst that happened is she had some good plant conversations, you know. So, you know, she's got her feet up and reading a book, looking comfy at her desk.
I do not understand you mammals, says Gus, the tree.
Your parents arranged
I
a
can't-
marriage?
What?
Blame you for not understanding us.
Daz heads back to the booms making lab to be sure Barbarossa hasn't spilled the black powder again. Nimlin says, we had tutors most often when young. We were isolated from anyone our parents disliked and who showed opposition to our parents elicits neither conversation nor fire but cold dismissal. That was why I enlisted. I wished to avoid my arrangement to placeholder name for posh snob ass man. There's precedent for this, as a matter of fact, in A Few Good Elves. So yeah. And Nimlin goes on, we tend to be left without supervision or access to resources.
Benign neglect.
Is this common? Says Celine de Rouvel.
I don't know if it's common, but it happens. It's people get too wrapped up in the politics of the situation. Right? They think that if they're not upwardly mobile in the political scene, that they are dead. So it sounds to me like your parents just don't have use for children.
Children to preserve the family name.
Yeah, you think your son for that.
I see, she says.
All right.
Yeah, Nimlin says quietly, and after that, I would have a better constitution, I believe, if my constant activity had been sustained with more food. I don't believe it's intentional, and I do love them, but I cannot leave my brother there because I don't believe they have the will to change. Celine nods. She says, where are you from, Private? And in the meantime, yeah, Vonvin does some busy work, it looks like, just kind of making it look like she's cleaning things up, but she doesn't have to, so everything in there is in order. But if she makes it look like she's getting the garden in order, then she doesn't have to actually clean anything. Am I right?
There isn't anything that needs to be cleaned. You know, it's not like shenanigans happened and she keeps things neat and tidy and in order just like Alessander does. You know, like there's a bandage out of place as you walk past, you fix that, right?
Right. Yeah, and Magpie
so
asked me to
infirmary
repeat.
tends to be neat unless something bad going on.
Right.
7:30, dude.
Yeah. Magpie asked me to repeat the gist of that last bit. She asked where it was that you were from. Yeah. Now what are Crowley and Yasma doing?
Cleaning up, helping out, lending a hand where it needs.
What is Arden doing?
Same thing, cleaning up.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys clean up the ship, right? Get yourselves in order, sober up a bit. Much coffee is passed out.
Yeah, Ari, don't break out the de-icing equipment, because I'm sure after sitting here for however many weeks we were sitting here, we built up some ice on the rails.
Yep.
Stuff like that. And if we're going to take off, we should not be top heavy. So,
Yep.
again, de-icing the rails and rigging.
Okay. Yeah, that is a task, by the way. Right. I know enough about that to know that's a task.
Yep. Hello, Eli. And yep,
Hey,
that's
Eli,
a
good to
task
see you.
that Daz gets put to since they're trying to abscond with military equipment. So Daz is being tasked with de-icing so that Madrimlin can actually do a full accounting of the supplies.
Right. Okay. So Magpie tells Nimlin tells us where they're from. I don't recall where it was either. I think it may have been the Alasian capital, but I will confirm.
Yeah, I believe so when it comes back to it. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I can't remember what we called.
Yeah. I did record it somewhere, but now I don't remember again. Moonflower may have named it because I didn't. So.
Check your naming notes.
That's
for
true.
channel rewards.
That's true.
I have it.
You have it?
I do have it. Yeah.
What do I name it?
Selizario, capital city of Malaysia.
Okay.
SELASZAERIEL.
Neat.
Just random notes I put on my character sheet. I managed to have.
If you happen to be logged into the stream, would you mind tapping that into the chat for me?
I can log in and put that in, yeah.
Oh, that was when I was thinking of building a gnome. Would that still work? I am confusion. Yeah, no, it still works, right?
Yeah.
The capital city of Alasia is Alasia is an elven nation. There are gnomes there, right? But it's primarily run by elves, and it's got, that same whole stratified society going on, right? So. Thank you for the posture check and the hydrate. Hail, hydrate.
Hydrate.
Sláinte.
Oh, hydrate.
And as Aaron always
Hail,
says,
hydrate!
I have a feeling if I'd gotten an adult beverage, I might keep up with Rowan tonight.
Oh, you would need a lot of adult beverage tonight, girl. Like I said, I feel like I fucking ate a big monster pack of red cherry nibs, followed by an entire tube of cherry viper venom. Which is mostly corn syrup and flavoring
Red food
and
dye?
red food dye.
Oh, you mean the stuff you used to do to get ready for Clinton War when you didn't have any energy?
Yeah.
Or, when I was driving for 12 hours straight and you were like, oh, just shut up, I want to go to sleep. Yeah.
Right. You're right. No amount of adult beverage would have helped me. NyQuil and Sudafed might do it, but yeah.
Only if you got them into me.
Yeah, I don't want to be that high, so no, I don't think so. Okay. I'm just teasing you anyway, as you know, but alright.
After the game, Rowan, I'd like to talk to you for a couple minutes.
Okay. Daz is hiding black powder around the alchemist lab to protect it from a drunk officer. At least that's the likely story. Except the few bits that were stashed in the place Crowley had her store the mini catapult for emergency use if the ship is in danger. How would you use black powder with a catapult?
Bomb?
I mean, yeah, you can make
Yeah,
a bomb.
Yeah.
And catapult it out.
There we go. Celazarial. Okay. Celazarial. That's a pretty name. I like that. Okay. Perfect. All right. Yes. Where were we? Okay. Celine says to Nimlin, "We'll see what we can do," she says.
Drovel nods. Are you noble, Nimlin?
Yeah, I believe she said I don't want to be associated with, and placeholder name. Hasn't made up the Elfar family name, but it is a noble Elfar family.
Do I know it?
Roll your knowledge, nobility, and royalty.
You would make me grab up my dice.
Yep.
Of course.
My game involves dice. Get your dice. Okay, not that often.
I
to
rolled
be fair,
23.
but I see my camera is askew. My room looks like I'm drunk. Okay, anyway, there we go. 23. Yeah, you know it.
You're just drinking.
What the hell just happened there? Oh, okay, right. I accidentally minimized the Zoom window. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Come on now. Back to work. Do I have to recapture that?
Now we're floating in space.
Apparently. Hmm? Alright, just a second, guys. I don't get this, but I apparently have to, like, flip to another window, and then flip back to the window. There we go. Anyway. Alright. Okay, yeah, Magpie says, I believe Nimlin would at this point mention the gardener and a couple of her trouble friends as contacts of sorts. Celine nods and says, next time we are in port in Alasia, we will see what we can do. And by the way, thank you for giving me a wonderful...
Noble adventure?
Adventure idea, yes.
Some of us to exercise our title at.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're welcome, she says. We're not going to leave your little brother in that situation, I promise, she says. We'll figure something out. Instead of goo, use spikes. No, we do not want to use spikes on the black powder. Because they might make sparks.
That's true, Stretch.
Yep, exactly. You could make a boom with the kind of flint and steel inside, so when it lands, the spark ignites the black powder impact explosive. Problem with that is that firing the thing also creates an impact.
Could create the impact explosion, yes. Better to put a timer on it.
You can also create an explosive without nitroglycerin. It doesn't explode as violently, but it still explodes and can have a wick. In which case, you can fire it from cap.
Hey Bob, thank you very much for the resub. And welcome. Good to see you tonight.
Welcome, Bob.
15 months. Nice. Thank you so much for all the support.
How long we've been online for?
Yeah, about that long.
Yeah.
Magpie says, thank you. I admit I wasn't expecting you to pick that up and came up with that right there. I'm going to write this stuff down in a Google Doc now. Yes, that's how adventures get made. It's
That's
all
how
good.
adventures get made. Yep.
The guys will, you know, Aaron will tell you, Rowan will tell you, Siobhan, Blake have been playing long enough with me. I don't know if Dawn will tell you, right? That that's how I do, right? Often I don't have anything planned, right? It's kind of like write a story on the fly for me in some ways. I'll run with shit the characters say and I'll make a story out of it. And I view it as a challenge and fun, right? So, yeah.
How well does my family get along with this posh asshole's family?
Let's see. I don't know. Roll a D10, D20. What's that?
Diplomacy check?
Sure, roll a diplomacy check. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah,
18
Penn starts
on the die, so 32.
32. Well, obviously, really well.
Good.
A
I'm writing him a
long-standing
letter.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna pen him a letter.
Okay.
To the head of the household, basically saying that the sun falls when you see this arrangement of marriage to be beneficial.
Okay, just a sec. I'm going to ask you about that again in one moment here because I didn't quite hear it clearly. But getting back to finishing up the conversation there, Nimmelin said, yes, sir. Thank you very much, Captain. Right? And then Penn, the raven, starts preening Nimmelin's hair. Celine says something complimentary about your raven and gets to know him. I'm not going to, like, do a whole 5-10 minutes of going back and forth with the raven, but basically she likes birds and that becomes clear, right? Obviously, since she has an owl, she introduces you to Lafathere, her owl, and you can decide how well the birds get on. Yeah. Should I name my patrons? It has something on my sheet. Probably we'll work on that in, yeah, what did we decide your patron was? Yeah, okay. Yep, sticky goo to make the boom stay in place until it goes off. This is kind of a precursor to future stuff, which is cool.
Lines.
Goblin porcupine ram mine. Chris, what the fuck? I like it.
Oh yeah. Oh. I could see how that would work too.
Yep. Yeah, greetings, Lafathere, Penn caws loudly and gets up in the owl's grill inspecting them. Yeah, so they kind of give each other the sideways, bird eye thing like they do since, that whole bit.
And Lafathere says, "Ooh, the fuck are you?"
Be nice. Yeah.
It's the bird look.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, Penn can be kind of intrusive and ornery. Lafathere is, they don't get mad, they get even.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay. And then,
I'll remember that motherfucker.
Then they'll do things like,
I'll get your eyes.
Accidentally on purpose knock you off a perch or, make off with your shit and go, what? Or, just sneaky shit, right?
Yeah, she's a interesting bird.
But they kind of both, yeah, Lafathere isn't going to take any exception to Penn unless Penn takes an exception to Lafathere. Yeah.
And pen's brighter than that. So the last thing that Pen wants to do is fuck with an owl.
This is true. She craps bigger than him.
With bones in it stuff.
Yeah. But anyway,
Likely to bring her a token of goodwill, rat tail or something.
I think that we'll pass through the rest of the day here at this point. You get the ship in order, you sleep in cycles, and, when everybody is relatively sober and nobody smells like a brewery anymore.
I spend the time writing that letter.
Right. Celine squeezes his shoulder when she sees him hard at work and what he's writing and says thank you. And then she gives him a kiss on the head and keeps going.
It's along really good with my family. He doesn't know me very well.
Your reputation might work against you there, she says.
It might. My reputation is being a bit of a handful. But my dad's old. Everyone knows it.
Right, she says.
He's probably on a ship now. I doubt he'll return this war.
You think he went back into the service? You think they called him back?
Absolutely he did. Without doubt. My dad's service anyway.
Well, I hope you guys get a chance to bury the hatchet first, she says. But either way, thank you, she says. That sounds like a horrible situation. I hate to think of anybody in it.
Basically what I'm telling them is that I don't think she's a suitable noble consort. She's worse than I am, basically. And that my father would take offense if he had to deal with her on a regular basis.
Right.
Right. And it's true. My father would take offense if he had to deal with her on a regular basis.
Based on what I know of your father, I'm sure you're right.
She's not noble enough for it.
Right. Yes, I see. Okay, I'm missing something here. How did you catch an idea that there was a marriage going on? Because I didn't catch that.
Back in the chat, right? Nimmelin said for placeholder guy an arrangement that they had for her with him. That's why she left.
Oh, okay.
So I took it to myself to think that this was a marriage. Am I wrong in that Nimmelin?
Yeah, is that correct, Magpie?
Not as far as I know, because I remember them talking about it, and they were saying they're running from an arranged marriage.
Yep, okay. So it is an arranged marriage, all right?
Right. He's just telling them that he feels that his father wouldn't approve of this marriage. That this could seriously strain the relationship between El Senior and his family.
Right.
Though he believes that he can get her into a shape that would be tolerable to the noble court, because not everything she's capable of being as noble as they would like her to be.
Okay, babe, your headset is scratching and it's louder than your voice. So I'm having trouble hearing you. Sorry.
Okay. I said that that basically he figures that he can whip her into shape enough that she would be fine in the noble court, but never enough that it would be acceptable to them in their standard of nobility.
Right.
Right. He makes it sound like he's only writing this letter to look out for them because they're such close friends.
Right.
Right. That, he wouldn't want their reputation to suffer for it.
Right.
Right. And he seriously sees a decline in the reputation of the Nimlins, whatever her last name is. Family. He sees a decline in their reputation in the future. They've crossed powerful people.
Right. Okay. And that was what you were basically rolling your diplomacy check for, as it were?
Yep. Sorry, I haven't written for so long, and that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
My diplomacy was so good that I'm imagining that these guys are like, close friends of my father. It doesn't mean they're bad people, but they seem arrogant assholes just like my dad, so.
Right.
It's the foo shits.
She says, okay, that gets our crewman out of harm's way. What about her brother?
I'm still chewing on that one.
Damn it. Bonbin doesn't know, so I can't put it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, neither can Madrimlian.
Hey, Aaron, can I give you an idea?
Sure.
Suggest that he gets stationed with you so you can turn him into a true gentleman and a soldier.
It
I
is
was just thinking that.
Yep, it is traditional but we're a war.
Okay, I'll put in the other idea. Scholarship to Cimmerian College.
Yeah, you could talk to your father.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Does not the prohibition just prohibit them from serving aboard ship?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. It doesn't prohibit him from serving aboard a land ship. For sure.
Couldn't he be perhaps, adjutant to Admiral Sunfall? At the missile headquarters or whatever?
That would indeed work. Or someone, anyway.
I could write my father.
That could be a fate a little bit worse than death, though.
It could be. But it could work. If I explain to him that I'm in the Navy now, I'm doing my job and my duty, and I think that this person needs his guidance.
Letter of commendation from the captain couldn't hurt.
Not from me, it won't, she says. It won't help at all.
No,
and the reason why is because I am not Elfar, she says.
Yeah. Right.
Well, maybe Asma could talk to her dad.
We could talk to Admiral Celestis.
That we could do, she says.
We could get him adjacent to Admiral Celestis.
Yeah, he's got a reputation for being a little stuffy, but otherwise all right.
Well, yeah, he's Alfar, of course he's stuffy.
Well.
We all are. You notice it with me.
Not anymore, she says.
No, I'm fully a Marine now.
Yeah, she says. Yeah, you are, she says.
But we gotta do something. We gotta get this boy out of that situation.
We'll discuss it with Nimlin when we get the chance. In the meantime, I think we're just about at the time when we should probably noticed that there's a fleet, she says.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to, we're going to establish proper watches, and the minute somebody sees a patrol, we'll go join them, she says. It won't take them long
Okay.
before they get one going.
They'll probably see us too.
Probably.
We don't have the camouflage on the boat anymore.
That's right, she says.
Yeah.
Hey, Daz. I mean, hey, Esong.
Hey, Song.
He's on volunteers.
Yeah. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, that was it. Just the land-based duty thing.
Good thinking, she says.
Yeah, but Jimmy will take the watch because it's Arian's time off at this point.
Right.
8 hours.
Yep.
8 hours later, and Arian can go sleep off his drunk now.
Yep.
So you guys know that I said I was playing with the Sirenscape stuff before we started, checking out some things. Right. So I noticed that among our collection of things, we happen to have the Sirens Battle of the Bards soundtrack because we have a subscription and we get all the Sirenscape products when they are released. Those of you who don't know, that is Satine Phoenix's universe there, the big Kickstarter that she did recently. There's a piece on it that gave me an idea, right? So those of you who are not currently, if you're in the game and you're not currently listening to the stream, the reason why I checked with you earlier as to whether or not you could hear the music over my headphone was whether or not you'd be able to hear this. So if you can't hear it now, you may want to check back on the VOD later, right? You hear one of your guests, now that he has sobered up, singing. There is, of course, no actual instruments, because he doesn't have any right now. But I really liked it. Although I imagine probably the other orcish prisoner is like humming sort of a drone like this instrument. You're not hearing it? I'll turn it up.
Okay. You know what? I'm not really using these right now anyways, and this is flipping well killing me with this headset.
They're singing eventually. At least I thought there was. Maybe I've got the wrong track here. Maybe this is one of those things where it starts a bunch of different tracks, because I swore I heard singing and I was like, this is perfect. But you know what? I'm going to start it over and see if that's the case. No, so... Oh, wait, no, this one is different, isn't it? There it is. Cool stuff, says Daz. I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you hear this deep, resonant voice singing from the jail, from the brig, and his companions kind of humming a low bass drone along with it.
I can almost hear the goblins doing a tenor portion too.
Nah, goblins wouldn't sing with orcs. They'd probably get their heads kicked in.
Yeah, good point.
Who speaks Orcish? I catch what you have to say there.
Madrimlian does.
I forgot what we changed Songbird's first name to. We have changed it. We
Elaine.
discussed it. No, we I believe we changed it. Right?
Alana. Yeah, Elena. Or Alina.
Alina, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Ruvel speaks Orcish. Yeah, I recall that. Anybody else? Well, Baloric actually is the name of the language officially. Orcish is what people who don't speak it call it.
Right.
And fucking orc noises, I don't know.
Well, Madrimlian speaks Orcish, but also I couldn't take Baloric.
High Baloric you can't take.
Yeah, High Baloric you can't take, but Orcish
is Baloric.
Yeah.
Is Baloric. Okay, yeah. Then Madrimlian speaks it.
So does Yasma.
Cool, okay. This sounds to you like a lament. Sounds to me like a lament. Right? And it takes a minute to catch the context, but it's something about a warrior knowing he is probably going to his death and lamenting his, singing about his family and his life and saying, lamenting that he won't see them again, but he has no regrets because he protected them. Get the feeling like it might be from a famous work of literature or famous work of music or something. Because it's not his name, right?
Yeah.
So a song sung basically about a very heroic warrior.
Yeah, exactly. It's...
Ruvel's gonna go talk to them.
The singing, of course, dies away as soon as they see you.
Well, I just wait till the song's over.
Yep. Nods.
You've been nothing but honorable with us. Yes. I'm not about to allow them to kill you.
You have that kind of authority, he says.
No. But they don't want to cross us.
He says, who slipped poison into our food?
Somebody poisoned your food?
Clearly, he says.
Oh, you mean the drugs?
He says.
I apologize for that. It's a religious tradition.
A religious tradition, he says.
Yes. Yes, our god of chaos. Apparently one of our crewmen is a follower of the god of chaos.
Ah, yes. I do believe that your lieutenant there said that something very improbable had probably happened to him, he says, regarding your god of chaos.
Yeah. I apologize for that happening. That's why I took you aside to the captain's office to keep you out of any weirdness.
To be fair, he says. I suppose you succeeded at that, he says.
He says you didn't reveal anything under influence. Your honor is intact.
No, you didn't ask, did you? And neither did your captain.
I wouldn't take advantage of you like that. You've been nothing but honorable with us. He says.
Well, he says, inasmuch as being a prisoner, he says, I suppose it's been a pleasure to be in your company, Harakcha, he says.
Yeah, I've actually enjoyed it too, and I wish there was something that we could do. I wish we wouldn't come to this with our people.
He says, your people need to realize that other people live in space too, he says. When they do, he says, perhaps we can meet on more favorable terms, he says. Assuming, of course, that your leaders don't countermand your decisions.
He says, I'm going to do my best to make sure that they ransom me back.
Nods.
He says, I'm going to ask to be in charge of it. I'm a noble. I have that right.
He says, not all Orcish cultures recognize a nobility, he says. But mine does, he says. All right. I see that in the meantime the chat crew is getting grub ready.
Yep.
All right, all hands to station, says Celine. We're ready to rejoin the fleet, I think. Yeah, someone has sighted one of the patrol ships by now, we're going to say.
Yep, my drumlet has.
All right.
These guys says we'll be there soon.
Prepare to make sail, she says.
Bosun?
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah?
Oh, no.
What?
Blake and Dawn are out of power, it says.
Oh, shit. Oh, well.
Is that the car out of power there, Don?
No, just like phone is.
Oh, Blake's phone's out of power.
Ah,
Okay.
Okay.
Stream anymore,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
Well, we'll repeat the talk in the stream anyways. So
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you guys get it in the air. Let's just, making a long story short.
We have no problems getting it up.
I don't know. Do you? Roll a. Let's see. Arian was taking responsibility for that. He can roll a profession spacefarer, profession sailor, if that's still what's on his sheet, whichever one.
Of course, he's still muted.
How do you want?
31. Yeah, you guys have no trouble lifting off. Yeah, no problem. Nothing sticks, nothing breaks. Your sails even kind of, flap off the last of the ice crystals as they pick up the air.
Mm.
I assume Crowley is at the helm.
Mariama.
Mariama, right.
Or Crowley, either way. I wasn't drinking last night. I'm pretty sure she probably was.
Yeah, she was
It's
fucking
true.
hammered. Oh, by the way, Adrimlian got laid a lot.
Yeah.
He got kind of pinned to his bed by strong, dark legs.
Oh.
And banged like a sword blank.
Yep.
They were playing blacksmith.
Sorry, what was that?
I was one of the few sober people of last night, so
Yep.
I'll be taking the help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like reporting for duty, Captain.
Yes, Blue and Bowler, Dragon Magpie.
Well, this is a mature stream. There's a reason for that.
Yeah. Well, that's how you play blacksmith. One person's the blacksmith and the other person's the sword blank.
Yep.
The bed's the anvil.
Yup. Yep. Lieutenant Matt is walking funny. This is true.
Yep.
Yep. By the way, Magpie, I think your emotes are hilarious. I wish that there was a proper way to describe them for audio, but there just isn't, so
Tuxedo laser.
they're cool. Okay, yeah, so you guys get in the air. Celine directs the person who is serving as yeoman to run up the signal flags to alert the patrol ship. To hail them. Say, hi, how you doing? Yeah, it's a cat shooting lasers. Yeah.
Yep. So, yeoman, that would be Elena.
Yep, that's right too, it is. So, our ship-sculled Elena Songbird starts putting up the flags, running the flags up. Yep. A few moments later, they're answering flags. Yeah, I like the salute in the chat. That's great. And then the flags they return signal and come around. They are let's see,
Well, Rowan has, crappy satellite signal, and Rowan might just look frozen, and just that she is actually sitting very, very still because she's concentrating on something else, so she is not a babbling fucking idiot. Because she feels like she is loaded on red food dye, and I mean super loaded.
Oh, it's doing some weird with the signal. I don't know why. I've got crap bit rate right now.
Oh, we're back on stream, so.
Yeah.
Okay, we might have to crash. Taz.
Wrong signal button, everyone. Fixed it. Yeah, that's pretty great. Yeah, I do not know what happened there. You're on mute, dear.
I was just laughing at Dad's look at in the chat there. Okay, who was flying the ship? Did we crash?
Yeah.
Probably flying the ship, and as soon as you'd like me to roll for it, I will.
No, that's because the stream crashes. We don't have to crash either.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead. Yeah, Crowley, you got the go ahead there.
Okay, I just grabbed my dice out here. So, I'm going to use my 20-day power to re-roll that.
Okay. Because maybe we did crash. Ah!
Literally.
20.
20. Okay.
Not a natural 20, though.
Dirty 20. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yep, you get her in the air. You manage to get out into atmosphere. Elena Songbird runs up the signals. There's a little mistake. She runs it down. She runs up the right signals. Yeah, yes, goblins will eat hash browns. Although Daz and Rowan have a point.
Potatoes, they don't like them very much, but they will eat potatoes.
Yeah.
Better if you fry them in lard, they'll eat them.
Yeah, exactly like, Daz points out they'll complain if there isn't meat in it, but they will eat it, right? Rowan says, probably if fried in bacon grease or wrapped in bacon, yep, that would make them eat it.
Yeah, fry them in lard.
The orcs tell you, don't listen to their fucking whining, because they're scavengers. He's seen them eat shoe leather and be fine. They're just being picky. Right? It's a Corvette that you managed to get the attention of. It sends the signals up to respond and comes back around when it sees your signals. And this is where Semaphore comes in.
Yep.
Hey, how doing?
Oh, old-fashioned
Wave your
telephone
arms
game.
in the air like you don't care.
Yep. I have an article on that too, by the way. Semaphore. I will drop it in the chat just in case anybody cares.
Pen, you think you can catch gulls?
I used to be able to do semaphore, but it has been years.
God, I know.
Would be very questionable at this point. Without a round of boning up on it.
Penn makes an style shrug when asked if he could catch gulls. Yeah, no, there's no gulls around this ship. Because I'm sure between Penn and Laffit there, they fuck right off.
And
Not to
Karak.
mention Karak, right? You know, the
Raja.
star shark and Raja, the saber-toothed tiger, right? The fucking gulls are like, nope, nope.
Have we got to do? We're telling you. It's first class menagerie.
Yeah, they're like, blessed wings of acceleration, don't fail me now. Yeah.
Da-dum, 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 dum, dum,
There
dum.
they are.
Ow, ow.
Out, you know, there's Laphith there, and you know, Penn, and what they've done is between the two of them, they have tied the remains of a rat and some bones to Karak, who is now trolling for seagulls.
Yeah, they're smart enough to do that shit, man. They probably are doing something crazy. Occasionally, you guys find a splatter of blood with some feathers, right? Or like a big pellet. You know, you don't find any gulls.
Space shark, do 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 do. Like baby shark, do 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 do. Space
No,
shark, do 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 do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, no, there's no gulls.
No, they fish for those guys. There is so not any gulls around here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right, so, I assume, I don't know what, Songbird, Elena Songbird does not have a character sheet, as I recall, at this point. So, random D20 roll to see how well you do with the semaphore. But basically, all Celine wants you to do is identify ourselves, right? And,
I'm to come alongside.
yeah.
We'll talk.
Arian will watch her and talk her through it if she stumbles.
Perfect. Assuming that E-Song is still in the chat. Which may not happen because she kind of vanishes like I do. And honestly, I don't intend to do that. It's just I get called away.
No, she was there.
3!
I'll redeem a reroll.
Okay.
I will point out, if you really don't want to, you know, resort to an online roller, which all suck ass, you could always ask Stretch pretty please to actually roll his nice real dice for you.
Yeah, Stretch can roll real dice for you.
Stretch is ready. He's been standing ready to roll dice. Yeah, we got a 5 on the reroll.
No, we're gonna re-roll that again.
Okay.
Hey, Song, if you have your own dice, roll them.
She doesn't have her own dice.
Yeah.
Ah.
The electronic ones.
Okay.
Stretch!
Stretch, save E-Song. Provided he didn't fall asleep in the black hole.
That's true.
Help me, Obi-Wan Stratobi. You're my only hope.
Yeah.
Or as Magpie called him earlier, GM elongated.
GM elongated. Yeah, we don't know if Stretch is still awake. It is 4:30 in the morning there.
You get a total of 19 watching her on my profession sailor.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Song says, my shiny math rocks are on a different floor and I'm already curled up in bed and I'm not going to grab them. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to tag Stretch in the chat one more time to see if he is still here. Interesting. Okay. It says he's here.
Yeah, it says he's there.
Yeah, he might be asleep on his chair.
That's true.
Yeah.
He did work 14 hours.
Yeah, I know. I'm just giving it a try because sometimes he has the stream muted, but he says tag him.
Yeah.
And I want him to have a chance to have fun too, right? The DM is not doing the job
because
unless everybody's having fun.
And I make him roll virtual dice in my game because I make everybody else roll virtual dice with the D20 dice roller.
I wouldn't play in your
because
game.
I have some players that I'm not entire. I have some players that I don't really know whatsoever at all. So
Yeah, well,
to be
my
fair, I just
opinion
make
is,
everybody use them.
my opinion is, if you got to cheat to have fun, you're only hurting yourself.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
a fact. Aaron and I discussed that before we ran
Right.
this, and we decided
Yep.
that if
We'd
people
use real
really wanted
dice.
to cheat, we didn't care, you know.
Didn't care. Go ahead. Right? Like, you're only hurting yourself.
And maybe,
You know,
you know,
'cause-
spoiling the game for other people. You get 3 natural 20s in a row, we're all gonna look at you like,
Yeah. You
There we
know.
go. 16 rolls for it.
The other
so
night, that was just.
Okay.
the other night was a weird night with dice, and it was weird for everybody.
Oh
So
God, yeah.
yeah.
And
That was
John,
just the most bizarre thing. I am probably never going to roll a 50 on D6s ever the hell again.
Yeah. So Esong got a 16.
Okay. Yeah,
Thanks
she
to
did
Magpie.
fine. Yeah, she looked like she was confused for a minute and hesitated, and then she went, oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, right? But yeah.
Like Esong said, oops, wrong signal.
Yep. Yeah, being a Corvette, they do come alongside. Actually, no, you guys are, you guys are frigate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're Corvette, they're smaller, they come alongside.
Yeah.
That's the etiquette because bigger ship can upset the gravity of smaller ship.
Yeah.
Because it has a bigger gravity well.
So it can upset all your gravity and do all sorts of weird, wacky shit to you. Right?
Yep. Thank you, Magpie.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see. So there's a commander in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You drop a gangway.
Yeah, alright. He comes on over then.
Yeah, salute him.
Yeah, salutes. Actually, it's like, or something like this, as I recall. It's like,
Yeah,
it's actually not that different from the orc one. The orc is like, thump, you know?
There's a closed fist to the thing and then an extended open hand.
Yeah, that's right. Like that. Not this.
At shoulder level.
They don't have any tradition of tipping their hats, right? So.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
Hand up.
Yeah, palm up.
My hand is empty.
Yep. I was going to say, do you know where that tradition comes from? It actually comes from medieval times.
Mm-hmm.
The knights would open their visor with their hand so
yep.
they could see who they were, and they do it palm out so that you could see their hand was empty. As an interesting side note, the American military would tell you that the only reason that we salute with our hand down is because we've never actually lost a war.
What a load of horse shit that is. 2 by my count. 3 actually by my count.
Yep.
Hey, I'm just
Policing actions don't count, remember?
I know.
Yeah, and low intensity conflicts don't count. So.
Yeah, when you guys just call anything you lose a military conflict, so you don't have to claim that you lost a war. We see through your bullshit. We don't believe you.
Yeah. You know, bullshit by any other name still smells like bullshit.
We're allowed to tease you. It's fun. Anyway, yeah, exactly. I totally, I actually do know that. But yeah, the audience didn't, and this kind of stuff is interesting, so thank you for sharing. It's cool. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, he salutes, right? Says permission to come aboard. Granted, says Celine, and thank you. Welcome aboard, she says. They chatter
Welcome
for
aboard,
a bit.
Commander. Yeah, I'm Lieutenant Ruvel Sunfall.
Lieutenant? Actually, no, you're still ensign at this point, remember?
All right, Ensign Ruvel Sunfall.
Ensign?
He says, this is Captain Your name just escaped me. Celine Wintermist.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the Voidchaser.
You tripped over the winter mist, right? Yeah, because you know the character. So, yeah.
All right. This is welcome to the Voidchaser.
Thank you, he says. We weren't expecting to see anybody out here, he says.
We got waylaid on our way to rendezvous with the fleet. As soon as we took some ships in flight and then didn't have enough supply to make it back to Draconia, so we came for this one.
Nods. It's all in my report for the Admiral, says Celine.
Yeah.
I forgot how they compare. I remember there was the rank comparison was not quite equal, was it?
He's a commander?
Yeah.
And you're a Marine captain?
Yes.
A Marine captain is equivalent to a lieutenant commander. So about the same thing.
Right.
All right.
Okay, yeah, here we go. I wrote it down. It wasn't exactly the same as NATO forces. I loosely based it on it, but of course there's no NATO in this universe, right? So,
right.
But I do have a table that gives me the information. So, commander, okay, and where are the Marines? I know you're here somewhere.
Yeah, the actual rank of captain puts you at about a lieutenant commander, but you're on a ship, which means you're a captain.
Right.
Which means your rank equivalent is captain.
Yeah, actually we are, looks like we have exact equivalent ranks anyway.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and being actually, he's in command of a ship too, so.
He's not on his ship.
That's true.
You outrank him.
Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna make a long story short, if that's okay with you again. They talk for a bit, and basically Celine has asked for, kind of they kind of exchange brief information. Yeah, we've been out doing things like you said, right? Celine asks how they fare and what they've been up to, and they said that they've kind of been fighting their way through the system. Towards the wormhole. There was a big battle at Adonia, but they still outnumbered the Fomorians at that time, right? And so they were able to defeat them. They got word, probably from you guys, that they were probably headed for permafrost or direct for the wormhole, and that they had likely taken permafrost. So they've been beating for permafrost ever since. But when they got there, they found that, someone had softened them up for them. You again, I assume, he says.
Yes, sir.
Right, and they kind of pummeled them into the ground, and they've now retaken the harbor. So he's on patrol, but they're resupplying, and they intend to, last he heard, the orders were they were going to beat for the wormhole to Talasia within 2 days.
Who's in charge of the fleet?
Admiral Celestis, sir. Or Admiral Celestis, Ensign, he says.
Thank you, sir. We have some Orcish prisoners, sir. We turn them over to the Admiral, but I'd like to speak with him about them before we do so.
Oh, I'm sure that would be fine, he says. The Admiral's going to want to hear your report directly anyway, I imagine, he says.
He nods.
Yeah, like Daz points out, there's only a need to worry if there's a direct change of command, like a blended unit of some kind. Celine is being very casual with this commander, right?
Yep. I am not being very casual with this commander. He outranks me.
Yep.
I'm being very professional.
Yep. Yeah, E-Song's off? Okay. Good night, hun. We'll see you next week.
Night, E-Song.
Assuming next week happens, but I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. There may be like nothing behind me at the time, but
Yeah, we might have all our stuff packed in boxes and
Yeah.
stuff.
but it should. So,
Yeah, next Sunday is the last Sunday we'll be in this place. So.
yep.
Right, and the Sunday after that's my birthday. So.
A place?
What's that?
Did you find a place?
We're not looking.
Ish. It's a long story and one that I don't really
Yeah.
want to get into on stream.
On stream, yeah.
If you hang around after, I'll
Okay.
tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, hang around for a few minutes after the stream and we'll tell you all about it.
Okay. I mean, like, it's not a bad thing. It's just long, and I'd rather spend the last, 15 minutes playing,
Yeah.
Okay, so after an exchange of information, you guys agreed to return to the, Permafrost Harbor. He will provide you an escort, and you guys head back to do that.
Okay. Let the Admiral know we're here.
Do you guys want to proceed on to the Admiral at this point, or is this something you would rather cut a little early and do next game?
Yeah, I think that would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because it could get involved.
It probably will get
And-
involved.
And then
Convers-
we have time to go
and
through it.
conversations like that are hard to pick up.
It's true. I'm sorry. What did you say, Blake?
Yeah, it's probably going to take a while to be involved, so it's better to have time to go through it all.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Anybody got anything in particular they plan on doing when we hit Permafrost Harbor? If not, I will start from there next time, and just
No.
if I forget, remind me that's where I was, right? And I'll describe the harbor coming in, because I'm sure you guys would be interested to get a sense of what the hell's going on, right?
Okay, well, I've had a great time.
Me too.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Any final thoughts from anybody?
Nope.
Did everyone have a good time, or were they just kind of like, yeah, this is all necessary, but let's move on to the next thing, or...
No, I'm having a good time.
Sounds good. We got some stuff done. They had some fun.
I didn't realize my mic was off. Yeah, I had fun, but Jeremy is thinking to himself that he needs to get more pairs of red and green socks.
Yeah, if they're going to throw them off the side.
Yep.
Arian's thinking he had fun. He's got to get more pieces of red and green rope.
Actually, what are the colors of the Morrigan? Because I might just bind Jeremy
Bind
in his
him.
ass.
Bind him up. They're black. Black is the color of the
I
Morrigan.
do believe
Black and
more-
red.
Probably.
Yeah,
Black and red.
or in some, black, white, and red,
Yeah, black, white, and red.
right? Like the triple goddess, right?
So Jeremy doesn't do it very often either. I mean, this is the first time that he's actually let on that he's a locate. To Arian's dismay. And he's known it for how long? Over a year?
No, I think Arian's got some plans for the next Loki's night. Or his own religious ceremony observance
Yeah.
of the Morrigan.
Yep, just tie up all these chaos bringers and sacrifice them to the Morrigan.
Not quite, but we have to have foes and blood and the crow goddess and all that stuff. So
Yep. All right, gang. Thanks for joining us tonight. Tomorrow is our day off. I realize that we have not been doing a lot of like the past couple of days. Aaron and I haven't been available. That's because we've been working on, moving basically, right? So, this is likely to continue to be sporadic in our stream schedule for the next couple of weeks. We do have some ideas planned for particular streams, but they will be contingent upon the needs of what we need to do, right? So bear with us, and if you're not sure of what's going on, the best way to keep abreast of that is with our Discord, which is here. I always announce whether we are canceling or not, if possible, in the Discord. I do not always assume responsibility for Aaron canceling in the Discord, but, I do when I can, but I cannot always do that, right? So, but it's still the best way to keep, information about what's going on. Yeah.
I will say that my stream tonight has been canceled. I have an appointment early in the morning.
Okay, that's good for your viewers to know, for sure. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing, guys. Those of you who are doing other projects, it is traditional when you have other streamers playing in your game on your stream that you give them an opportunity to promote themselves after the game. And I think perhaps we should probably start doing that. And if you have other projects that you would like to promote, that's fine too. So, would you care to take advantage of that there, Siobhan?
Sure. I mean, I do have my Tuesday stream, which will be going, and it's my reading stream, where I'm reading from Hope. This is the pre-edit version, which is how I've been finding out, okay, this needs work.
Right. It is traditional to be brief, however.
Yep. I was going to say, but that's about all I have right now.
Right. And where do they find you?
Find me at my stream, and I'll drop it into the chat.
Which is twitch.tv/
Siobhan the Writer, but it's SIO. Well, as my thing is SIOBHAN, the Writer, underscore SHIBAHN.
There you go. And I believe that Rowan has another game stream that she does.
That is correct. Rowan runs a game called Into the Pool in her Wayreth universe on Dr. PDQ's Twitch channel, Saturdays at 1 p.m. PST till approximately 4 PST.
Do I not follow Dr. PDQ? This is on Wednesday too. Oh, from 1 until 4. No wonder I don't ever find it.
Yeah.
And on Saturdays.
And feel free to drop that link in the chat there, Rowan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, Siobhan beat you.
I would have to open another window.
Okay.
Siobhan did it for you.
Thank you, Siobhan.
You're welcome.
Because
Brilliant.
I only have chat on my phone, and it's problematic to just drop a link.
Right. Okay, and thank you once again to our chat crew. A lot of our chat crew are also streamers or regulars in the community, so we are happy to see them. Shout out to Diane Stretch, who also streams, but who spends more time modding other people's streams, and therefore falls asleep because he works too hard.
Yeah. Shout out to Barbarossa Sparklebeard, who streams Wednesday mornings.
Yes. Yep. Barbarossa is an awesome world builder streamer. I really enjoy his streams, so we'll drop his link in the chat too. All right. And now we'll go to the credit screen here. Hopefully, just a second. I'm going to spend a moment, because you know what? I forgot to look entirely for my credits thing about this is, you know, our stream that I have all the information on and wrote down and have a queue thing and lost somehow because it probably got eaten by
Moving.
my...
Because you're moving.
Yeah. Yeah, so I lose track of things when I'm, you know... I probably packed it up, is what I probably did, but it doesn't really matter.
You should just make a screen that says it and then just put it up and then you don't have to read
Well, I
it.
do kind of have one, but alright, let's go to the credit screen here. Alright. Toy Soldiers Old School is game mastered by Sable Aradia, created by Diane Morrison, who at this moment happen to be the same person. Audio and video provided by Zoom. Sound effects and ambience provided by Sirenscape. Music provided by White Sand. Check out his Patreon at patreon.com/whitesand. Character graphics provided by Hero Forge. Mapping and gaming software provided by mapping provided by Campaign Cartographer 3+, World Spinner, and Incarnate with adaptations in Adobe Photoshop. Gaming, and now Dungeon Fog, which I guess I better add to the credits when we're done. Gaming software provided by Fantasy Grounds, Hero Lab, and World Anvil. Check out our campaign at www.worldanvil.com/w/Toy Soldier Saga. Our next stream will be on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. UTC, 10 p.m. in the UK. I think that's 7 o'clock in the morning, Australian Eastern Time on Wednesday. That will be after 1 p.m. with Eric. Bring your RPG questions and world-building information. And, you know, thanks for joining us today, guys. I had a great time. Coffee Quill is up, so we will be waiting coffee. When you get there, please don't forget to shout, prepare to be boarded. Actually, yeah, and armed. Because we are we be the Sable's privateers, and here it's still Talk Like a Pirate Day for another 3 hours. And even if you're in the Eastern Time Zone, it'd be Pirate Day for another 3 minutes. We're going to be raiding over to coffee now. We'll see you next week.